Welcome to the Vibrant Visibility Podcast. Being visible as a soul-led business owner isn't just about the practical strategies, marketing tips, and tech systems. It's also about the internal systems, the safety of your nervous system, the somatic connection, and the embodiment of being a badass CEO that will support you in all of the ups and downs of entrepreneurship. And I'm here to share all of that with you on this show. I'm your host, Shawnee Arsenault, a registered nurse turned visibility coach and business mentor for heart-centered coaches and healers. I created a six-figure coaching practice in my first year of business and scaled to multiple six figures my second year, all in the middle of getting pregnant with my first baby and becoming a new mama. If I can do this entrepreneurship thing, I know you can too. If you're ready to learn how to be a CEO in a way that feels aligned with your heart, become a lighthouse for the people that you're meant to serve, feel free to authentically express yourself and be a magnet for success, and grow your coaching business in a way that is sustainable and fulfilling, I can't wait to be in your ear along for the ride. Hello, everyone. Thank you all for joining me live here today. I'm doing a client spotlight interview with Janet Banks. I'm so excited to have you here. She has been in my membership for quite a while now, right? You've been in the membership for, I don't know, probably over a year or maybe even going on two.
Yeah, it's somewhere around a year.
Yeah. Okay, beautiful. Well, Janet, I want to give you a few moments to just kind of introduce yourself first, and then we'll kind of dive into the interview.
Great. Yeah, so I'm Janet Banks. I am a nurse and life coach. I live in Oregon with my family. And let's see, I have been a nurse for a long time. And I spent 20 plus years at the bedside in various roles, staff nurse, charge nurse, and another decade and a half in nursing education, and came to coaching realization that I was maybe burnt out and needed, or others were burnt out, I could help them. And then I realized that was really me that was burnt out.
Yeah.
And in helping myself, I get to help others.
I love that. Well, I'm excited. We can talk a little bit more about your practice. And if you have anything to share at the end, we'll leave some space for that. But I want to just kind of dive into, you've been in the membership for a while, and I want to know, what was it that made you join?
I took advantage of a free offer for, I think it was maybe a week or 2 weeks for the organization.
Yeah, I sometimes forget that I have that.
And I started it and never finished it, but I realized, I think that helped me notice the state of affairs in my electronic filing system. When that ran out and I still wanted to take advantage of that, I then joined. There were a couple of things, though, that I needed to be ready, I guess. And I had to have a certain amount of stuff built up. And I was kind of moving forward in my business, but this system of organization and whatnot was just chaos. I was recreating things all the time because I couldn't remember where it was. And I thought, this would be good. And this will help me maybe sort things out, learn new things. Maybe I think about a lot of times with coaching that people can get there on their own, but when they ask for help, they get there quicker. So it felt like a shortcut for me.
I love that you mentioned that, because so much of what's inside of the membership, even like what I do with you guys on the live calls, it's not groundbreaking stuff. Like this information, it's easily Googleable, but it is faster to have someone there walking you through it, or maybe even repeating it back to you or going through it with you in a way that makes more sense than just like randomly looking up YouTube videos and reading Google articles. Yeah. So I'd love to know if you can take me back to that first, like maybe 2 weeks or that first month in the membership. What was the landscape for you? Like, was it overwhelming? Because I know there's a lot of content in there, but tell me like what that experience in the first 2 weeks to a month were.
It was a little overwhelming, I'll admit that.
Yeah.
But it was also affirming, because there was information in there about setting up the system, the app Practice Better. And I felt like I've done that already. I'm good. So there was stuff in there that let me know, you've already done that. You can skip that section when you're doing continuing education and you just, flip through the,
oh my gosh. Yeah.
I know this stuff about the race and whatever the fire extinguisher pass, I can answer all those questions.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was a lot. But then I think you provided maybe an intro video that said, there's a lot of stuff on this left-hand side, but if you just want to search for something specific, I have any video I've recorded has little bookmarks in it that will take you directly to any mention of MailChimp or Practice Better or Google, whatever.
Yeah.
And that was like, oh, this will be easy to navigate. Even though there looks like a lot of stuff, I can go to that specific piece that I need for today.
Yeah. I always try to tell people that it's going to be overwhelming when you come in. It's going to be overwhelming because there is a lot of stuff in there. And I think with the way our brains work, we like to have everything done. It's like a checklist type of thing. We like to check things off. We like to have everything complete. The like policy, process, procedure side of our brain is highly activated whenever we get into a course type of environment. And so it makes sense. It makes sense that it's a little overwhelming first coming in. And I love that you gave yourself permission to just search whatever you need and then leave the rest alone. And then also celebrate yourself for having accomplished some of the things that are already in there. It almost makes you feel like, hey, I don't actually need that, What was the most helpful part for you so far? Like after you've experienced like getting in the library and going to the live calls, like what's been your favorite part of being a member in CEO Systems?
I think it's probably, even though I haven't been able to make every single one, the calls are super helpful because I can think about what I might need or want to look at. But when I hear what other people are thinking about working on, then it reminds me of something. Oh yeah, I do need to know that, or I didn't know I needed to know that, but that is so helpful. And that groupthink in there is really helpful, and to learn something I didn't know I needed to know. But I think that's probably the most valuable. But then whenever I am working on something, I can say, I wonder if Sean has some, sometimes I'll think of something and I'll think, I wonder, I should go into the membership and look it up and see if there's something about this in there. And then, so that's, kind of number 2. And number 3 would be all the awesome worksheets you create for us that help kind of plan out. They're process oriented, which I really appreciate because I can come up with ideas about things, but then how do I get it? How do I make it happen? And those worksheets are often process oriented so that I can get to that thing that I want to create. Yeah.
I love that. That's probably one of the biggest questions that I get from the people in the membership, from all of you, is how do I get from here to here? Like, we can talk about, like you said, coming up with really great ideas and like that creative part of us. Like, so many of you are so creative and you have a bunch of ideas, but it's almost a matter of how do I put together all of those ideas and execute it and get it out into the world in a way that makes sense, in a way that's not overwhelming, in a way that isn't messy. And so because I know all of you think that way, I think that way, it helps me create those resources to be like, okay, we really just need a little bit of structure. And then we can like move things forward and put stuff out there. Is there a particular thing that you've created since joining the membership that you are like extremely proud of?
Yes, I made a workbook.
Yeah. Tell us about it.
Yeah. So I was speaking at a summit. My topic was, you can't yoga your way out of burnout.
I love that title.
And it was one of the things that was required to speak at the summit was to have a freebie, a lead magnet, an offer for folks. So I took my title and thought about, so it was, you can't yoga your way out of burnout, values-driven solution for something in 30 days. So I had a process that helped me work through kind of this burnout. I don't even know what brings me joy anymore, to kind of figuring out what my values are, my core values, and then acting, using those core values as a guide to make new choices because I was kind of saying yes to everything because I didn't know better. And there was plenty to say yes to, and there were expectations and whatever. But so I took that information that I had. Oh, it was, anyways, self-care was in this big old title of my thing. So then I took that and just put it into a workbook, and I looked up I think you had shown some things in your calls about how to do a Google Doc. And then I saved it as a PDF. Later, I saved it as a, download your copy so I could keep updating it. But I pulled in images and had it cover, and I used the different on the Google Doc. You can, the title and the subheads, and I picked out font and colors and things like that, and my logo and all the pieces. And I put together this workbook. I felt so great about it. And when I signed up for the summit, freebie lead magnet were not really familiar terms, and I had never put one together before. So that whole process of figuring out how to do that, I felt like I could do it. I was, I had all the tools and skills that I needed, and so I created that workbook. And certainly, if folks are interested, I can share that.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that you are so proud of it too, because part of the reason I created this membership was so that you guys could have fun in the stuff that you create, right? I know tech can be kind of weird and it can be headache inducing, but once we can find the fun in it and have a little bit of enjoyment with the stuff that we create, the freebies that we create. I actually did a call with one of my clients recently, and we talked about, why don't you just create some freebies for the fun of it? Not even for the purpose of putting them out there or building it into your business in some way, but what would feel really exciting for you to create. And that little tiny shift even just helped her not get stuck in the weeds of how do I put this together? What emails do I need to send out? What platform do I need to all of these questions, just create it first, and then we can figure out those systems and the structure for it later. And then I think I remember you coming to some of the calls, talking about the freebie and talking about that workbook and how you would put all of that together. That's super exciting that you've got something that you're really proud of that you created just because you were able to ask for support, Yeah.
It was great. And then I had another presentation I did about simplifying and clearing clutter. And I created a whole resource guide on that too, that I like just as much. It feels like I leveled up.
Yeah, it's so helpful to have a space to land whenever all of those nitty-gritty details don't feel super clear. Because kind of like what you said earlier, there are some people who start their businesses and they're like, I don't know what a freebie is. I don't know what a lead magnet is. All of this is very, very new. There are people inside of this membership that are years ahead of you and then also years behind you. And we can all kind of find similar common ground to come together. And it's not just me helping you, it's others. You guys are all helping each other and supporting each other. Whenever I can't be in there to answer questions, I love that there's interaction between all of you. Have you found, as far as the community aspect of it goes, tell me about your experience, just connecting with other coaches in the community. What's been that for you?
Really good. I probably interact a little less in that way, rather than just going to the membership guide and looking through that. But it's a very engaged community. There's somebody on there who can answer fairly quickly, whether it's you or someone else that has that experience. So yeah, when I've asked questions, I usually get a fairly quick answer from somebody, whether it's you or somebody else. Yeah, and it's very open, not judgy, not preachy, I wouldn't expect that anyway, but it is very supportive and open, and people feel willing to share, in my experience.
Yeah, that has been something that's been really important to me in cultivating that community, is to make it a no judgment space, because we have varying levels of experience with technology in our community. Right. We have a range of people who of all ages too. Right. And it's not just people of a similar age group. It's all ages, all stages of business, and there's no stupid questions. I'm constantly telling all of you, like, if you have a question, ask it. It's not stupid. I promise. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I told my students that very many times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can you tell me how your business has changed or how it's grown over the course of time, you being in the membership? What has evolved since, before you started and comparing it to now?
So I think I come back to this again, the organization of my Google Docs and my Google Drive really has helped me organize it, right? But also to see what I have and to realize I have a lot of resources that I have created or that have my words in them. So one thing that has been kind of fun is to write it myself or pull those things out of there and then ask, whether it's ChatGPT or otherwise, to kind of put a bunch of those things in there and then have them finesse it into something else, like repurposing that information. So that has been a big thing for me. Having it all organized then allowed me to see what I have and sort it into, is this sales stuff? Is this my own personal education? Is it, I can't remember the four things that I had that in, and miscellaneous and things that maybe are older and, I don't need them anymore. I can just toss. Or that I don't know what I will do with this, but it doesn't fit into any of the other categories, so I just put it in miscellaneous. And then eventually I archive things, and then once they've been archived for a while and I haven't looked at them, then I'll just delete them. But that really helped me to see all the things that I have, because I don't think I realized that I had all those resources already. And that was one of the ways I put together the different workbooks. I put together the workbook and the resource guide was to take all of my intellectual property already and have ChatGPT sort of pull out the highlights and help me then create something that is mine and fine-tuned. So yeah, I have a better, I have a resource for that. I can help you with that. Here's my free whatever that I created. You might find this helpful, rather than thinking, God, I don't even know where to start with this. Yeah.
Yes. The organization piece is also not just for the physical places where all of your stuff is, but it also helps you in your brain in the process of thinking about sending resources to clients or creating something new for your business. It gives you a little bit of that like internal mental structure of, I know where to find this, or I know where to go in my business setup to find all of the things that I need to create something new, right? Rather than having it be all scattered, all everywhere, like chaotic. That's one of the reasons why that organization piece is the trial that I have. Is that's the one thing. If you guys don't take anything else away from being in this membership, it is that piece, is like, this is how to organize your stuff so it makes sense to you.
It's so much easier to then store anything else that I create, is because it goes in those nice little buckets. But yeah, repurposing all of that stuff.
Yeah. The repurposing has been huge, because if we're like, one of the biggest themes of this entire membership space is saving you time, right? Saving you time and making your business sustainable for you as you grow, no matter what stage of business you're at. And I think that the practice of repurposing everything that you have, anything from like, I can scroll back to all of my old social media posts and have them all saved somewhere in a Google Doc and pull other stuff out of there. You know what I mean? Some of my offers have been based off of random posts that I put together. And I'm like, this would be a really cool offer or a really cool freebie or something. And so, yeah, just even having that mindset of everything you create can turn into something else, that's been a really cool thing that I've seen with a lot of you, is knowing to archive your stuff and keep like a bank of all of the different creative projects that you work on, so that you can pick out little pieces and turn them into something new,
Yeah, that's exactly what I did.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, anything else around your experience in the membership? What's been kind of your biggest learning, your biggest takeaway from being in that space so far?
I was thinking about how, as a nurse, change was constant. There was always some new thing. It was a new pump, new IV fluid pump, new medication administration system, new charting. I'm old enough that I started out on paper and moved to electronic health records. And that was a huge shift. And because at the time I was in labor and delivery, we sort of used different systems to look at the fetal heart monitor tracing on the screen and record that, and something else to chart in. So we were like navigating multiple systems. And then there was another whole system where we put orders in. Oh, you know how it goes. And I've always used Macs at home, but always PCs at work. So I feel kind of tech savvy in that way, that I never really was too threatened by technology. And yet all of this business stuff related to having a business felt foreign. And there wasn't a place to start. There was a place to start, but if I start here, am I wasting time? That sort of thing. So having this, I had a course when I first got out of my coaching training that helped me a little bit, but then it was like, okay, go. I have felt like this has helped me move forward in a considered way, rather than just trying things out and seeing what works, and having spent time doing something that didn't amount to anything. So it's really like I said before, the going further with asking for help, or getting there quicker by asking for help.
I love
probably
that.
the biggest.
Yeah, and I can sense that too. Like I see the coaches who come to me after they've gone through, another program or something like that, and maybe like you guys learned how to coach really well and how to connect with people really well, but it's all of this like back end stuff that still feels very overwhelming. And if you're wanting to grow and scale your business, that's the part that we need to learn. Like, we're good on coaching, we're good on connecting. Okay, now what? And that's kind of where this space fills that gap a little bit. So yeah, it's been so beautiful to just like watch you grow and your confidence grow. And even like people who joined, like, you've seen the frequent members that have been here since the very beginning, and you've kind of been able to gain some experience and some wisdom from them as well, not just me. But people tend to stick around because there's always something to grow in. There's always like a new system to learn, depending on what level your business is at. And I love being a part of that growth. And so if somebody is thinking about joining and they're not entirely sure if this is the space for them, like no matter what stage of business they're at, what advice would you have for somebody who's kind of on the fence?
Well, I have so much respect for you, Sean, so please don't take this in any sort of way. But join for a month.
Yeah.
It's a month-to-month thing. Join for a month. Even if you join for a month and it's less than $100 a month, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God. You have stumbled into a treasure trove. And if you want to, you're going to be really buckling down and working on some things in the next month, join. And then you'll have all this access to all this information, plus Sean and our calls and whatever else. And then I think you'll be hooked. You won't want to leave. Yeah, I certainly want you to succeed, and I want folks to stay in the membership. But even if you're not sure, it's month to month. You can try it month, and then I think you'll say, wow, it's worth this for all the things that I get, the community, the membership, all the tools within that, and then the live calls. It's so worth it.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of people coming and going as they please in the membership. I've had people pause, I've had people leave and come back. Like it. And the nice thing is, that's why I made it a month to month, because you don't always need this kind of support at every moment of your business. And then there are other people that they love having it as like a catch-all place for support, especially if they're like in between containers or whatever. Like it can be a nice supplement to the support that you're already getting. But yeah, I mean, a month. 1 month is like not a commitment. I don't like you have to commit to like 3. Like I don't have that. And a lot of times I run sales on these things. I'm actually running a sale pretty soon. Like by the time this goes live on my podcast, whenever I repurpose it for the podcast, the sale will be live. But a lot of times I run sales on these things, so you can get in for next to nothing if you choose to.
I did that.
Yeah, I know. A lot of the people in the membership came in through some kind of sale or something like that. So yeah, I so appreciate just you being in the space and getting to watch you grow your thriving practice and create all of these beautiful things and speak at summits. And it's just been really cool to see your growth. Is there a place where people can find you? Is there anything that you want to share with the audience here if they want to, see what you're up to or enter into your world?
Absolutely. Probably an easy way. My name is Janet Banks and my website is janetbanks.org. That's an easy way to find me. And the thing that I'm launching that I'm super excited about is a newsletter. I've wanted to do a newsletter for a while.
Yeah.
And I'm getting the final pieces put together for that. So if you want to connect with me via my website, like book a call or something, if you get me your email, I'll add you to my newsletter list. You can see what it's about, see what I'm about, see what my offers are, and decide if you want to stick around and read it.
Yes. All of those links will be in the comments here live. And then for those of you who are listening to this via podcast, whenever I post this on the podcast, it will also be in the show notes for you. I so appreciate you, Janet. For those of you who are watching this live right now, I'm running a sale on the membership. So you can join for your first month for $11. And I'm also going to be doing a free live challenge from the 15th to the 17th called Streamline Sprint. And Janet, those buckets that we talked about earlier when you were organizing your Google Drive and all that. That's what this 3-day challenge is going to be. It's going through each of these buckets and simplifying the systems you have for all of the admin operation stuff, your programs, your client deliverables and whatnot, and then your marketing and sales. So this 3-day live challenge is happening next week from the 15th to the 17th, and I'll put all of that info below or in the description here, wherever, so you guys can follow along. Thank you so much, Janet, for spending some time with me today and sharing your experience. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome, Sean. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much for tuning in today. If this was helpful for you, subscribe to the show to make sure you're always in the loop when a new episode is out. And I would love to invite you to join me in the free Visibility and Tech Support for Coaches community, where we hang out and chat about all things visibility, tech, systems, and heart-centered business building. I regularly share tips and tutorials and go live every now and then, and it's just nice to be in a community with other like-minded coaches and healers. So you can join this free space at alignwellco.com/community, and I can't wait to see you there.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.